Awesome. All right. Uh, Technical challenges. All right, people. So sometimes you got to take a mindful break, and I appreciate the fact that there's this incredible beloved community here with me, who is helping to navigate, uh, some of the tech challenges. So, Gym Two focuses on creating and finding a beloved community that'll hold you in the lean and tough times. And so, as I think about my journey, and I think about the um, litany of things that have taken place over time, I know that it's important for me to surround myself and have people who are part of my village, who are part of my network, who are absolutely willing to call me in uh, and hold me accountable to my own intentions and how I'm impacting community, but also knowing that they will embrace me with love and intention that I think is important at these times, and to remind us of who we are in all of our divine humanness. And so some of the work that we do starts with our own inner being and knowing that we are doing this work intentionally with other members of our community, but it is about not just our own liberation, but liberation of everyone who's in the space, and knowing that all of the things that we're doing and creating and nurturing this community, that is all designed to help us to be better human beings, and be able to have better relationships that are nourishing and nurturing to all involved. And so for me, I had an opportunity to participate in something called the Transformative Education Leadership Fellowship. And I met 40 incredible people from all over the world. And here's four of them who absolutely were our guides, who were great stewards of sacred activism, and liberatory practices that helped me to understand how my body was keeping a score. Because if you've read anything by Bessel von Kolk, right, if I'm not mistaken, the body keeps a score. You know that your body feels everything. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel that thing, like what's going on in my stomach, or I feel nauseous, or I have headaches, or like your body knows and is telling you that something in your personal constellation is not firing in the way you would hope, and that it's telling you that there are some things that you have to address in order for you to move forward. And so I really appreciate all the work that they did to strengthen my mindfulness practices, my contemplative practices, my focus on leveraging yoga and body work and shadow work. That was all important for me to be who I am today. And I also think about sometimes that the world is nutty. Like, hey, we have so many things that are going on, so many responsibilities, deadlines, and more. And we don't always take the time to acknowledge that magic is happening in the small moments. And so I'll share, some anecdotes about some things that happen in the school community with, school communities that I've served. One is I had a really great coach who said, Craig, everyone is starting to foster this vision you have. They're bought in, but they are looking for just one more nugget. And she said, I want you to think about doing something big that's out of your comfort zone. And know I'm going to hold you regardless of whatever is the outcome. And for me, it was putting on this wonderful spandex outfit. For those who don't remember the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that was a thing, honey. Oh, was it a thing? And so for me, it was an opportunity to experience childhood play, but it was also an opportunity to create a level of ignitement with my school community, and doing something that was bigger than what they had perceived of me. And knowing that we had a big hero party, everyone coming together as their hero in their own right, in their own story, right? You are the hero of your own story. And I remember this interesting conversation I had with my mom as I was putting this outfit on in the bathroom of the school. And my mom was like, baby, just make sure all your parts are put away, honey, because you thick in all the places. And I had a sense of body dysmorphia and this, just discontent with my body, but inside it didn't matter because the fact that our kids was watching and they would be inspired by this big rally we did was important. I also think about how do we engage and make sure that adults and young people are experiencing play together, and that we not take ourselves so seriously, but actually find ourselves saying, hey, we're going to do some really interesting things, whether or not it's a staff versus students basketball game, whether or not we're going to connect as a community and have some beverages, outside of the community and just kind of wind down, or our focus on growth mindset. For me, as you saw with the earlier video of me working out, I didn't arrive at lifting, like almost 300 pounds because I just was able to do that from the beginning. It was because I had to build up a sense of understanding and awareness that this is where I'm at, but this is not my ending. And that the journey ahead is going to be formidable in regards to growing beyond my own comprehension. And having that growth mindset is an absolutely powerful thing for any human being, but also teaching it to the entire school community to set goals that we all will celebrate. It's about just building the small moments. And, for me, I have found myself coming to task with sharing some of my stories in the public square. Daring bravely as we think about Brene Brown, who talks about being in that arena, battling, and being all bloodied and all those things, but knowing that the reward is connection. It is an absolute ownership to who you are or the thing that you're doing, and knowing that you're being absolutely vulnerable and honest, and knowing that if you've done your work well, that whether or not you have a small community of 2 or 3 or 3,000 and 4,000 people who are giving you feedback on a day-to-day basis, or as often as you decide to be vulnerable, that they will hold you to what you said you are and believe you are. They're going to hold you to that. And knowing that you also have to model how to receive that feedback, how to give it in a way that is going to honor the human journey for them, as well as being able to say, hey, even I don't get it right all the time. And so for me, I found myself putting myself in the public square and sharing, hey, sometimes things get really hard. It's hard today. And am I the only one? And I got countless messages from folks like, I appreciated the fact that as much as I think you sitting in your office or you're walking around and you don't carry, you know, your own luggage, your own baggage, your own traumas, your own challenges, your own whatever, your idiosyncrasies, but to hear and to see that you share this, it makes me appreciate you more. And even for my students, I've done that and saying, hey, I'm having a moment. Mr. Martin's having a moment today. Give me my 5. And I will be with you. And students know, like, they will honor that. And if you do the same for them, it is really interesting what you will see down the line if you're modeling humanness and human connection and just really fostering some really great agency tools and self-efficacy tools, that your students will also say, hey, I need 5 minutes in the mindful corner, the wellness corner. I need to sit in the brave space today because um, I had to get my brother and sister here to school and we didn't have breakfast. Or my uniform was not clean. And I came to school, I know there's a consequence. And, we sometimes forget that our kids also sometimes have to carry responsibilities, but knowing that there's a space for them where they can be vulnerable and brave, and have the tools modeled for how they activate them is powerful. And one of the things that I really am still wrestling with, but I know to be true, when there's something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself, nobody like you has ever, no one has ever been born that carries your DNA. No one has your own individual footprints. Um, but we all intrinsically, I believe, are looking for someone and looking for connection with someone who will actually see us. To be seen is so powerful. And I know that internally, we know when the energy is right and we want to be connected to like a very kindred energy. And I had a very interesting experience in going to New York. And I went in because I told uh, this energy agent, I'll call her, um, I am not feeling like myself, and I really feel a sense of blockage. I feel like I am blocked. I'm having a hard time relating to people. I find myself angry, and I'm not necessarily sure why I'm angry. And you know, got on the table, and she did a chakra reading of me to really help me to understand what was going on with me, to help me move energies through my body and out the ether so that I could actually breathe and see myself, and then be open enough to the next person, um, who I care about deeply, but I couldn't connect with. And sometimes you just have to keep excavating until you get to the core of whatever the thing is, because on the other side is something so phenomenal. And I think that Howard Thurman really got that when it comes to, sometimes you are keenly aware that something is right or wrong, but you just don't know how to articulate it, and you wait for it. And I know if I do my work, then people will be willing to be in community with me. So the things that I continue to do that help to foster my spirit is I continue to give grace and gratitude, and I do it in good company. I am known for inviting folks over for a good meal and just to, you know, have a good time, enjoy one another without any intentions or motives more than just come here and be. And I also find myself being invited to those spaces where people will allow me to be who I am. And I think that that's powerful. And then you have to accept that you are the lighthouse of love, liberation, and truth. And depending on how you are situated in the environment with your students, your colleagues, your parents, those who you're working with, you have to accept that when you made a decision to take this role on, to be this entity in someone's life, that you represent a light, especially at the moments when things feel dark and that people don't know how they're going to get to the other side, or they're going to get through whatever is the circumstance, the situation that they're going through. And sometimes, even for those who rear at you with the ugliest words and actions, some point they realize that you've been consistent with how you've shown up and you've loved them through the tough stuff. And they feel a sense of connection to you, and through curiosity and patience and empathy, you unpack what they're carrying with them, and they experience a sense of liberation, and you hold them to the truth of who they are and how they're showing up. And you reflect back to them what that is. as well as an opportunity to do it all over again. You get a second chance, you get a third chance. It's okay. We're going to work through this because we're all human and none of us get it right most of the time, but we keep trying anyway. And so for me, as I continue to do this work and being in today's classrooms and school buildings, and I'm supporting, at this time, I'm supporting other school leaders and educators and parents and nonprofits who are trying to figure this thing out. For me, I understand that people, like Maya Angelou says, well, they may forget your name, but they don't forget how you've made them feel. And so many times, even years later, I have students who are reaching out to me, some of them who are in this, photo in the upper left corner. And they may not remember all the things I ever said to them, but they remember that I love them. They remember that I was an incredible champion for them and I would not accept less from anyone for them. And that I did things on my own to defy my own gravity within my life of what I thought I could do. And I shared that out. And that I went places and spaces and brought those spaces and places back to them because some of our kids never left their zip code. And I think that it is important for us to always reach back and then to bring them forward and figure out, well, how do you help them to create a path in their mind, in their heart and spirit that they can actually exceed the glass ceilings of their own lives? Sometimes that's through your own storytelling and example and sharing with them, hey, I was on government assistance as well. I was one paycheck away from being homeless. I had to go to a truck to get food. Me and my family, all five of us had to go to a truck, the back of a truck, and get a block of cheese, a box of cereal, a box of powdered milk, a box of macaroni and cheese, and figure out how to make that stretch for a week or 2 weeks on end. And I think that that level of candor and honesty says, me too, but it also says, I see you. And then you got to decide that you deserve to thrive. You have to be absolutely unapologetic in all the things. You got to say, hey, I'm worthy. Point blank and period. And that was my life lesson many times over. You deserve to thrive. You absolutely deserve it. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways in my bonus gems for ways that you can continue to nurture thriving conditions for yourself and others. So here's the bonus gems. Because I know I said 7, but I had a few more. I had some time. So I want you to think about thriving. Thriving is an active experience in your life. Granted, it's an adjective, but I feel like it is actually a noun. I feel like it's a being. But I know those who are, linguists and English teachers are gonna say, Craig, it's an adjective. Stop playing. But I want you to think about this. Thriving is about flourishing. That to grow vigorously. Like that is amazing. To think about it. You growing vigorously. I wish I had time to unpack that. And sometimes we think that wealth is the answer, but there are millionaires and billionaires who are miserable. And when I think about wealth, I think about emotional, physical, spiritual wealth and well-being. And thriving for me, when I think about the old Middle English origin back in the 1300s, if I'm not mistaken, it's to grasp, to get hold of. That means I actually have to hold on to this experience and continue to hold it with a level of vigor that I deserve to thrive. And I'm going to do all the work to strengthen my sense of well-being because my well-being is the be all end all, honey. It's why we bring people to the table. And if I feel like I actually have all of this, then no matter what my bank account says, if I got people who love me, I'm in my right mind, body, and spirit. I have my limbs. I am actually doing things in purpose and passion, and I know when to pivot. Uh, honey. I'm just saying, that's a good gumbo. Thriving is absolutely a destination that can be reached by all of us. And just, as we're coming around to the close of the bend, I know. I'm like, gosh, Craig, there's so much to talk about. But did you know that if you actually got 4 hugs a day, you could survive for the next one? What if you got 8 hugs? 8 hugs helps to build up the maintenance. It's like, all right, I got so much love today, I got something tomorrow, just in case I don't get something today. And if you get 12, uh, growth, exponential trajectory. And so I I knew that one of my love languages was personal touch, but I didn't really own how powerful it is, even if you give side hugs, right? Because, I know we're in this really interesting, tricky environment, but even if you got a side hug or a high five, the gift of touch can save your life. It's life giving. When's the last time you've been hugged? Have you gotten a good hug? Mm. And people tell me I'm a Care Bear. I got good hugs. And did you know that when you are in community with loved ones and you're doing all these wonderful things, you're getting the hugs, you are actually out living in passion and purpose, and you know when to pivot? Do you know your body, the 40 trillion cells in your body actually generate this hormone called oxytocin that generates positivity, joy, and love? Did you know your body is working for you even when you sleep, honey? Come on now. Imagine if you are thriving in a community, that your body will have a party by itself when you wake up. Hot dog. And this is something I'm trying. I am not here yet. I'm gonna be honest, because I believe that manifestation is really when you have a divine mind, body, and spirit connection. It's a soul tie. Like you are connected to something greater than your glass ceiling. And this method, the manifestation method, and I've heard some people have done it and are doing it and are thriving because they believe absolutely without equivocation that whatever is their pinnacle, their mountain, whatever it is that they desire, they're going to do all the things and they're going to actualize it. It's just about roughing through all of the barriers and the mind trash in our head that we can't, and owning that we can. And so this method says, create an affirmation around whatever it is you want to manifest. Write it down 33 times and then repeat the process for 3 days. Believe that you will receive what you ask for. And sometimes we have to do this 2, 3, 4, 5 times because life has told us that we don't deserve to be happy. You did this thing, or this thing happened to you. And so therefore you don't deserve worthiness. And that's not necessarily true. Try this method out. And also, if I had more time, I would just talk more about the March framework. And this is something I've been using in my leadership teams and in schools and in nonprofits and more, to talk about my March framework, which is mind, body, and spirit, amplifying good news, rising with resilience, creating brave care spaces, and holding on to hope. Because all of that is incredible ingredients to you actually experience the kind of thriving in your life that you deserve and the transformation that is absolutely critical. So as we come to a close, just want you to think about that future self that we started with. And I want you to continue to think about this. Your transformation story begins with you confidently deciding that you deserve what? And being clear about your intention, doing the manifestation work, making sure you have a beloved community around you, being grateful for the small wins and the small magic that happens that builds up the momentum, and knowing that you will actualize a life experience that is nourishing and amazing and beloved. So I want to thank you all for your time. I will share the resources if you want to download the March framework or you want to learn more from me in my journey. I don't mind making the time and the space for you, but I'm absolutely incredibly grateful to COSUM for actually inviting me to be part of something that I feel is magical. Um, and I hope that you reach out to me and we can continue this conversation. All right.
Craig, this has been so great. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. It is definitely an inspiring evening, regardless of the little issue we had with tech. I'm happy we could hear it all. I want to pause for a moment. Anybody have any thoughts, wonderings, questions for Craig as you're thinking about that? I do want to put in the chat wherever I can find it. There we go. Our feedback form and our attendance form. So questions, thoughts, feel free to come off mute.
So Craig, I know of what you speak with Tell. I am actually taking Mina's course right now and have been at the Omega Institute for many years, actually 5 or 6 years. And I met Michael this summer actually, and was so honored to have some good conversations with him and get to know him a little bit more.
Yes.
And I just like when you showed that slide, I was like, oh, those are my friends. Like there's Linda, there's Mina.
Yes.
So but your energy, your light, your direction, your leadership. I am trying to figure out where I'm going right now in some things. I had an interview this week because we're trying to move south, and like this is another piece of the puzzle that I needed to hear tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Good luck on the journey. You deserve all the wonderful things you want going down south, which has some great food, if I do say so myself.
Where it's just downstate where I am in Delaware, but we bought a beach house and we just want to be there. It just I'm my best self when I'm down there.
Yes.
And I'm ready for a change of 14 years from where I am now. So it's time.
Awesome. I also just want to thank you for sharing that, Dina. Just want to remind everybody of our SEL Day live stream Friday. If you can join on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I think we're doing as well. Definitely Instagram. So that's definitely a place you can stop by and hear from our board members that will be sharing some of their journeys and perspectives and some mindfulness-based SEL practices. Thank you, Dina and Emily, and Denise had to run to another event, but I know she'll catch us in our PD library. I put the attendance form and the feedback form in the chat. I will also follow up with an email. I did it. My dog even congratulated me. So have a good evening, everybody. Thank you, Craig. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig,
It's been
so
an amazing
much.
night. Bye.
Truly grateful. Have a great night.
Y'all too. Bye.